I think Matt Smith will join also.
Yes, I don't think that there will be a problem.
It's a public meeting.
Yeah, no, it's a public meeting, and the appointment officially into the board. I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just that it has not gone through the mayor and council for that appointment.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Michael, will you please send the minutes from the November 12th meeting, which I sent to you on the 14th and were approved by this board on the 19th, to the city clerk's office, where those appointments were made?
Oh, I have not done that. I thought I did. If I've not, I will. What meeting is that?
It's the minutes from November 12th. It was a 4-minute meeting concurrent with Armory Park Neighborhood Association.
No, that meeting was not. Was it? I thought it was I thought it was a neighborhood meeting, which you said.
No, it was an advisory board meeting. The
Oh,
minutes were sent to you all. The minutes were shared with the board, and they took an action to approve the minutes from the 11/12 meeting.
okay.
It was held in person, but they have not been sent to the city clerk's office for posting.
Okay, I will do so. If you send it to me, I will.
I can send them again, but you've had them for.
No. You don't have to duplicate. If you're saying that you send it to me, there's no point for you duplicating. Please.
Okay.
It's just I honestly I was thinking that it was the neighborhood meeting. I didn't know that it was an advisory board.
Yeah.
But if it was, there's no problem. I'll send it tomorrow.
Great.
I have a couple of early arrows to send tomorrow anyway. Let me make a good note of it here. You said, was that November 12th, John?
Yes, November 12th. It was a 4-minute in-person meeting. We had a full quorum. The
Okay.
minutes I shared two days later with you and were shared among the board, and the board approved them by a vote of 6-0 on 11/19, which are reflected in the minutes from the November 19th
Okay.
legal action report.
Will do.
Okay.
Okay, are we starting the meeting?
Yes, the meeting is starting now at 6:33. So I have you, Robert, as the vice chair. So by John not being on the board, you definitely are going to be the chair for this meeting today.
Do we have to make a motion first, to allow John and who else is there that we need to keep on as citizen advisory for the time being? Do we have to make a motion before?
Technically, per the code, you can appoint 4 advisors. There would be me and Pat, who are willing to continue until Steve and Matt are formally appointed to replace us.
Do we need to make that motion now before we do anything?
It would probably be helpful.
All right, I'll make a motion that John and Pat remain on the board as citizen advisory until Matt and Steve have been approved by the city.
This is,
could I ask, Stan, could I ask you to amend that to say that Steve, Matt, John, and Pat should be appointed as citizen advisors at this meeting? Would you be willing to field that, Stan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. I second it.
I'm going to second the motion as amended.
Are you saying that Steve is going to be a citizen advisory member of the board? Not going to be appointed in the special category part?
No, they would be appointed subsequently. It's just for the meeting, really, or until they're appointed.
Okay, got it. So Stan made the motion and Helen seconded.
That's correct.
Mr. Chair, can you take a vote?
Can we keep John as the chairman for the time being?
No, this is a motion today for today. No, he can participate. They can participate.
Okay, do you want me to, do you want me as the vice chair to ask for the vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, so, give me 1 second. Okay, Lynn,
Yes.
Helen,
Aye.
let's see,
And
Yes,
Matt, Stan,
yes,
yourself.
and myself. Aye. Okay,
So the
so,
4-0.
exactly. So the motion is adopted.
Thank you. Item 2. But in the meantime, John, because you're here, do you want to help to do the minutes or you want staff to do the minutes?
I'm happy to oversee it. I realize that all the citizen appointees cannot make motions or
Yeah.
vote, but I'm happy to preside if it's the board's preference.
yes.
No, we are requesting that if you want to do the minutes, but we're not requesting that you preside the meeting. Robert is presiding the meeting over the meeting, please.
I will be happy to send you a draft set of minutes if you would like. I would recommend that if the board concurs that they hold off the elections per the bylaws until the full appointment of people are actually on the board.
It's not the election is not even agendized today, so we don't need to worry about the election right now.
Okay.
When they will appoint the full board, we will put the election at that point. That is why staff intentionally did not include election here.
Okay.
Normally, the 1st January of every year, there's a spot for election. But because we are aware that many more people are still going to be appointed, we are going to hold off on that until when Steve and Matt are appointed, then we can hold the election at that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so if it's okay with the rest of the board as the vice chair, I'm going to motion to approve the LR minutes as submitted.
I second.
I would request that a clarification is made, but it's up to you all to decide. Under board, I requested that the plans for the sign at Stafford School be presented to the Historic Commission, not this board.
Yes, that is going to be done, John. I have discussed with the chair of the Historic Commission.
Great. I just wanted to clarify that because that was the only error I spotted. Great job, whoever did the minutes. I think
Okay,
Carla.
in that case, I'm going to motion for a vote. Stan,
Aye,
Lynn,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
and myself. So 2-0, motion is approved. Okay, now,
Item 3 is call to the audience. I did not receive anything.
okay, call to the audience. You haven't received any, okay. So I guess we could go on to reviews.
Yes.
Okay, reviews is TPPRE 1024-00247 at 719 South 4th Avenue. It's for a remodel, alteration to existing building, removal of walls, veranda roof, pergola, rainwater tanks, relocate condenser, add floor benches.
Point of order. Maurice, it's just, it's a proposal for
Okay.
a new residence.
Okay, there was a lot of echo there.
Must be coming from somebody. We request that if you're not talking, please, can you just go on mute so that we can, this noise will be, please.
I am trying.
Okay, is there still a lot of echo? Okay, so okay, so we have for review TPPRE 1024-00247, 719 South 4th Avenue. For a remodel, alteration to existing building, removal of walls, veranda roof, pergola, rainwater tanks, relocate condenser, add floor benches, outdoor kitchen, garage, pool cabana, door, window, shed structure, and demolish carports.
Maurice, you're reading from the wrong agenda.
Okay. That's the one that shows in today's,
The correct item is TP-PRE-1124-00260, 250 East 17th Street for a new residence on a vacant lot.
okay, let me see. One second, I'm bringing it up on the screen.
Maybe reading from the last agenda thing. But there was also a courtesy.
Yep.
So it's a new construction of a 1,621 square foot single family residence on a currently vacant lot. The property is a corner lot at the intersection of East 17th Street and South Herbert Avenue. This is a courtesy review, and because nothing is constructed yet, it is a non-contributing resource to the Armory Park Historic Preservation Zone. And I have the applicant in this case is Will Robinette. I have made you, Will, as a co-host, so you should be able to share your screen, be able to present the project, please.
Okay. Excuse me. Hi, everyone. My name's Will Robinette. I'm the owner of that property on 17th and Herbert. Second. I'm trying to share my screen here. And I'm hoping to build a house for myself there. Not familiar with this process, though, trying to get some feedback on what you are looking for in terms of information, but also compliance. I've got a draft of an application here for a courtesy review. I don't know what the best, do you think it's better to go through it as text or images first? Hang on one second. I'll pull up the images.
I have somebody showing up as iPhone Connect. Can we know who that is for the earlier, please?
I am connected through my iPhone, but so that may or may not be me.
Okay, that is probably why we're having that. Okay.
Or I'm only connected through my iPhone, though, but
It's
Okay,
Pat
that's fine.
O'Brien.
Yes. Hello?
I was just clarifying for Michael Taku, the iPhone is Pat's.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, thank you, John.
Yep.
Well, at least you know it, so that's fine. Okay.
Okay, so the property we're talking about is listed here in red on the Armory Park map. Zooming in, it's there on the corner of 17th and Herbert, the southeast corner. I think I've got my development zone outlined here with the contributing buildings within that zone. There's a variety of roof types, setbacks, styles. Here's the property we're talking about in red, looking north. Here it is again, looking east towards 4th Avenue. 17th is on the left here. We're looking towards the south across 17th Street. Here looking northwest. This is Herbert, that development zone along Herbert. And then this walks through those contributing buildings in that development zone. So here's on 4th and 17th. These two buildings. I'm showing some setback precedents here. We can go into more if we need to. Here's the neighbor across Herbert, right on Herbert. Moving down Herbert, you have these parapet flat roof precedents, varying heights. Here's the neighbor to the south on Herbert. The neighbor to the east.
Will, just a minute, John, you have something to say?
Yes, it's regarding the development zone.
Yep.
You did a perfect job, but the city's map is incorrect. The eastern side
Okay.
of block, yeah, the eastern side of block 123 that goes from Herbert to South 4th Avenue. None of the buildings adjacent to your lot are actually contributing historic. They were constructed in the 1990s. The only
Okay.
address that is a contributing structure, which is outside of your development zone, is 714. And 748 is actually contributing non-historic, but there are no contributing properties adjacent to your lot, except across Herbert and across 17th.
Okay, got you. So I should take those off that presentation.
It's not your fault. The city map was supposed to be
Yeah.
updated. We reviewed this project 4 years ago, and Jody was going to make those corrections, but it never got done officially on the city map. So they still list them erroneously as being contributing, even though they were constructed 50 years later.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Sure.
Here's a survey if we need it. This is showing sort of hopeful proposed setbacks. I think we can zoom in here, right? So there's elevations coming up, but the proposal would be for a 14-foot parapet roof as the main mass, with then lower 12'8" parapet roofs for the neighbor to the east and then to the neighbor to the south as well on Herbert. Looking at setbacks of 8 feet at the 17th Street. Can't see this one on my, it's 5 feet on Herbert, 6 to the east neighbor, and then 13 back here. Putting a drive and parking to the south on Herbert, adjacent to, there's already, the neighbor has parking here. There's a fence that was constructed at some time, like a wrought iron fence, that would be kept at the front on 17th, and then proposing a taller or opaque fence in the back for privacy. Here, I can see the elevation. So these are showing ideas for elevations from Herbert and 17th. 17th is on the bottom here. So this shows that 14-foot parapet roof, and then the 12.8 to the east. Here's that 6-foot setback there, 5 foot on Herbert, showing those neighbors across Herbert, and then to that property we're just talking about to the east. Keeping that fence, showing a covered entry on the north, and then the drive at the top elevation for Herbert, showing that drive to the south of my property, with the taller solid fences there to the south. That's what I've got for you today.
This is Helen. I would like to say, first of all, you obviously did your homework, and I think we're just really appreciative of the effort that you put into this.
Good.
I do have a question about the fence, just because I'm the landscape person.
Sure.
What is the height of that fence?
Especially the one on
Oh,
17.
well,
The
I
one,
remember if it was 6 or 7 feet. Or which the new fence?
No, I'm wondering about all of the fence situations. Was it a 7-foot fence?
Yeah, so this, if you can see my cursor in the rear, that would be a 7-foot fence. And then it's probably a 3 or 3.5 foot fence that's existing on 17th that would remain around the corner and then stop here.
Uh-huh.
I think we can probably have a photo of that. Yeah, so on the this image on the bottom left is that
Mhm.
that fence.
Fence, and then in front of the drive, you're asking for a taller fence or
Or
parking?
I didn't hear the last word. An off-street parking, yeah. Uncovered parking, yeah. Or, not a garage.
Uh-huh. Because that would probably end up being an issue if that were a 7-foot fence, just to there's an Armory Park fence height limitation, basically. John,
Okay.
you can correct me on this if I'm wrong. But I think it is 36 inches, am I right? Or is it 4 feet?
Okay, the building code says fences can be 7 feet. The zoning code limits the height of fences to 6 feet. There have been no approved fences in the historic preservation zone over 7 feet or over 6 feet ever, although some exist. Except in a couple of cases for like sidewalls and things up against buildings in specific circumstances, which have to be less than 50% of the running fence line. So if you keep it at 6, you're perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay.
6
Okay.
on the side. The front has to be 4.
Yes. And Armory Park standards say that the front yard is 4 feet back to the front facade of the building.
It's not only Armory
Gotcha.
Park alone, it's just all HPZs.
This is Stan. I have a couple of comments. Could you go
Okay.
back to the elevations, please? On the north elevation, the continuous cover above the door and the windows is quite unusual, I think. I don't know that I could ever find any place in Armory Park that had a continuous cover like that over doors and windows. I could certainly understand it over the doors. I think going over the other three windows is probably out of character in terms of the architectural details that exist in the neighborhood. That's one comment. The second comment I have is on the Herbert side. It looks like you've made that one fence, the tall one, as a cover for your mechanical and electrical. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, in the sort of center of that elevation, yeah.
All right. Are you putting is your electrical service underground from the electrical pole, power pole?
Yeah, it will be, and it's supposed to be per the covenants.
Okay. The existing fence that you've got coming along Herbert does that go back all the way to where you've got it shown, or is there a new section in there? Or do you have to remove some of the existing?
I would remove some of the that fence runs the length of of the property line.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Although I think that was probably built in the 90s as well. But yeah.
You're removing over 50% of that fence then?
On that facade, but probably a third of it at most.
Well, if it goes all the way back to the property line and you've got it shown, or you've got it shown, you're stopping at the 6 foot or the 7 foot or the 6 foot fence. So there's a substantial amount.
Yeah.
So
I just mean on that elevation, yes.
Okay, you're taking down about 2/3 of the fence.
Well, you mean on that elevation or on the total fence?
On that elevation.
In that elevation, correct, yeah, but
okay, all right.
Overall, it would be less than a third.
My only other comment is that I don't think that the square windows are really appropriate. If you had steel sash, they would be wider. If you had wood sash, they would be taller. I went around and I couldn't find a square window in the neighborhood. I think that the square windows are not appropriate here. And I think that to either go rectangularly, go wider on the width or go taller in the height. And based on what you're doing on the front, I'm assuming those front windows are wood sash windows, or are they windows that have some type of cover on them on the outside?
Well, the idea would be to probably metal-clad wood windows, double or single hung.
All right, so those are metal-clad windows metal on the outside and wood on the inside?
Yeah.
All right.
Correct.
My preference then would be to just make those windows a little bit taller on the Hubert side and make them double hung metal-clad windows then too.
Okay.
You can still keep them small, but I think it would be more appropriate for those to be the same style of window. And then
okay, there's a little bit, I'll just, part of the reason for that is a bit of a privacy issue there. So on that alley, or, sound privacy, if nothing else, which is just to say not wanting to make them have a lower sill, but were you suggesting they should be either vertical or horizontal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think
okay.
Since you've got double hung windows on the main elevation, I would suggest that you go with double hung on the Herbert elevation. And since they are wood, since they're single or double hung, they would need to be vertically higher than they are in width. And you could make those down to 1'6" wide and maybe 2'4" high. Whatever common size you've got there, or you can get, I think that would still work quite fine. And then the other question I have is that I don't see any other windows on any of the other there's no other elevations to look at. So are you maintaining the same type of windows on the other two elevations?
Well, I'm just getting started here and trying to get your
That's
feedback,
fine.
which is helpful. And I don't know, and I'm also curious what is the question for you guys, what is how are the non-street or non-public facades handled by
I
your
would
review?
maintain the same, I would maintain the same style that you've got throughout the rest of the house. If you're using
Well,
double hung.
is that a requirement or a preference?
For the historic preservation zone, unlike the National Historic District, all the four sides of the property are subject to review.
Okay.
So there is
For new construction as well.
Yeah, there's nothing to say that it is because it's visible from the street and all that kind of stuff. All the four sides are subject to same level of review, if that's what you were asking.
Okay. Yeah, that's my question.
Other than that, I have no other comments.
Okay. Is it possible to have some windows that aren't double hung in this?
Well,
I can think of some, well, maybe not quite, but it's not unheard of to have a fixed or casement window on a home with double hung windows.
well, I think what we're looking-
Especially on the west.
well, I'll listen to other comments, but my comments would be, I would stay with the same style
Okay.
on all four sides.
John, you have a hand up.
Just briefly, in TSM section 9-02 for Armory Park, there's a prohibition in the neighborhood for clerestory windows. So that's kind of means high windows up on a wall. They're just not a design element in the historic preservation zone. So that's probably why the kind of disingenuous roundabout about them. Historically, most windows in Armory Park are vertical in nature, but a mix for a compatible new building could have all sorts of options. You just have to make a case and present development zone standards that allow you to do what you need to do to design your building.
Understood. Okay. Thanks.
Sure.
Helpful.
Okay, I have a couple of comments to make. I think Stan is 100% correct. The awning on top of the windows facing 17th Street needs to be either individual or changed altogether, but it cannot be the way it is now. His comments on the side window is also correct. Okay. My additional comment, has to do with the doors that face 17th Street. Are those doors going to lead to a gate on the 17th Street side? In other words, you're showing some.
There's an existing gate that's not shown. Yeah. Right.
So there is an existing gate.
Yeah, that should be shown in the elevation this time.
Okay, so it's something that's going to need to appear in future reviews or plans on this house, because right now it's not showing. Okay. Outside of that, I have no major issues here. This looks good.
Okay.
Helen, do you have any comments?
My comments were specifically the exterior ones about the fencing. The setbacks look right, I think. So, yeah, I don't disagree with those.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me ask,
Lee?
Maurice, I got one other question. Bringing it up, I don't know why I didn't think of it before, but the doors up in front, I mean, are those wood doors or are those metal doors? Those panels?
Oh, those would be wood.
Okay, very good.
You like wood, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I like wood.
Very good.
Okay. Liam, do you have any comments?
I agree. I appreciate all the homework that you did, Will, and thank you. It makes it easier for me to envision what it's going to look like as part of the community. And it seems like it would fit in very well and be a nice addition to the neighborhood. And I agree with some of the things that other people have said. I think that the fence in the front will look nice. I think you'll find that a 6-foot fence is for your carport area or your parking area will be just fine. I don't think you're going to miss that extra foot at all. And that's about it.
Thank you.
Okay. I have one more comment regarding the fence on the Herbert Avenue side, not the parking fence, but the one that's going to be covering the mechanicals. This is going to be 6 fence tall as well, correct?
Well, yeah, if it is not now, then it will be, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, well, at this point in time, I would say, we should make a move to approve
No.
those with the,
Mr. Chair, this is a courtesy review. You do not need a motion.
okay, then I would say that, we need to further review, okay, to show, the changes in heights of the fence, the changes in the type of windows on the Herbert Avenue side, the change in the awning on the 18th Street, on the 17th Street side, and the gates, which at this point do not show on the drawing on the 17th Street side.
So summary is the applicant is here before the board just to get the feedback as you are providing to the applicant. The applicant will get those feedback, go back, and then go back to the design and then refine the design to meet all the information that you are providing today. And then when the applicant is ready, we then submit for a formal review. So this will come back to you again, which will be a different concept at that time because the applicant would have included all the information that you are providing today. So that's all what this particular review is about today. No action is required from the board.
Great. Well, we appreciate your presentation. It's very professional, and we're looking forward to have you as a new neighbor. This is very good. Thank you.
Great,
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks for your help. Very helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a quick comment. Will, you may want to look at the Technical Standards Manual, section 9-02, in addition to UDC section 5.8.
9-02 and 5.08.
Yeah, that the Technical Standards Manual is where the individual standards for the HPZs are located, and they provide a little more guidance.
Okay, thanks.
But you're doing a great job, in my humble opinion.
Thank you.
So, next item, Mr. Chair, is the Armory Park Historic Zone Advisory Board Design Guidelines Project. Update on the design guideline.
I'm still working on a draft to give to the board to review, but there's no new update.
Okay, thanks, John.
Yep.
Yep.
Item 6 will be minor reviews. The month of December, don't recall that we did any minor reviews. I do have a couple of minor reviews that are going to be set up. Part of my waiting is because I'm hoping that we'll be able to get the board fully in place for me to be able to request for assistant. John was the main person doing minor reviews, and by him not being on the board, it just becomes a little bit an issue for minor reviews. But we are going to do them. I have a couple of them. Particularly, most of them are solar panels and roof replacement. That's the other update that I have on minor review. John, if you have anything on minor reviews that I probably missed,
There's one thing I'll comment on. There's a house at 417 South 4th Avenue that applied to replace a cedar shake roof that was last replaced in the 90s. It's the Cannon House. That never made it to a minor review, and because the house was leaking, they wanted to replace the wood shingles with cedar looking asphalt shingles from a registered company. Because the house was leaking and they could not get any of their applications through the Byzantine process, they went ahead and are re-roofing. And personally, I don't see any problem with what they're doing. They're putting on the deck and putting appropriate asphalt shingle on that.
address again, John.
The address is 417 South 4th Avenue.
I
It's
think
the Cannon residence.
yes, I
Jerry,
think I have it. I have it somewhere. As
what
one.
he's doing looks fine with me. I've talked to Jerry and his contractor several times, and we were trying to get that done in December, but nothing happened. And so they went ahead and are re-roofing at this moment. But if it does get to you, Michael, I recommend that you approve it retroactively.
Okay, we'll do. I think I have it. I think I have it as one of the projects for review in Armory Park. I think I do. If not, I will contact them. Thank you for that.
Sure. Other than that, there's been a few things, but nothing demonstratively damaging to the district that I've happened to notice driving around.
John, should I, for public transparency, should I mention my appointment?
I would do that under item 7 coming up under call to the board.
We're on item
Okay,
call to the board, so you can talk about that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so item number 7, I had the pleasure to announce to the board that I was appointed as the Commissioner for Ward 6 on the Park and Recreation Department, effective in December 27 of last year. And that's it.
Congratulations. That
Thank
is,
you so much.
you can have a lot of work with this, because we are the Historic Landscape Subcommittee trying to reconnect with parks. And so this would be a step in the right direction.
Well, I'm looking forward to fulfill that position. The first commissioners meeting I'm going to be attending as a commissioner is going to be tomorrow. Okay, I already have a few appointments for other business with the commission, and I'm looking forward to help out as much as possible in Armory Park, since Armory Park is part of Ward 6, of course. Okay, so again, like I said, this is a great honor, and I want to share it with everybody here. Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, Jim. And that was item 7.
I don't have anything to say, but since Matt and Steve are here at Mike Wheatling, because they'll be joining the board, it'd be great if on an official meeting they could introduce themselves to the 4 members on the board, and hopefully they'll be joining you by February. We'll see. We're 10 weeks into the process of getting them appointed. Take it away, guys.
So I'll start. I'm Steve Grady. I think I know almost everybody. Lynn, I'm not sure that we know one another. But I was a longtime member of the board in the 1990s at the advisory board. And I have been on the historical commission. This is my second appointment, and I'm in year 7. And I chair the historic landscape subcommittee. One of the projects I did for the neighborhood was with Robert Bailey and Gloria Fenner. We managed the re-inventory and expansion of the district in the 1990s.
You also designed the lights.
That would be Robert Bailey.
Well, you and Bob.
I guess I'm up. I am Matt Smith. I think I've had the pleasure of presenting to all of you at some point or another, most recently the park plan for Armory Park. Since then, I have moved on from the landscape architecture industry, leaving Arc Studios, and now I work for Pima County as a project manager. So I still have ties to landscape architecture. I'll be reviewing it in that light. And my parents live in Armory Park, so I'm kind of representing them and their stake in the neighborhood.
Matt, I'm so happy to have another landscape person. I mean, between you and Steve, you can take things over.
Baby steps, but we'll get there.
Well, welcome to the board, folks. Looking forward to work with you guys. Michael?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Any other procedure we need to talk about or follow?
No, for Matt and Steve, we are working on the appointment. I don't think there's any issue for them being appointed in the special qualification category. They meet all the requirements. I think it's just a matter of when it gets before mayor and council. As far as we, the staff, are concerned, we do not find any issue with the appointment. We'll do our best to make sure we can get them appointed as quickly as we can. And I believe John should also still be able and add if they want to be appointed as citizen advisory members of the board. All that has to go through the city plan.
Actually, that's not true, Michael. The board can, at its discretion, per Tucson Code, Chapter 10A, Section 137, appoint up to 4 advisory citizen advisors at its sole discretion. They do not have to go through mayor and council. It's separate. And because Pat and I are not on the board and cannot vote and other things, we serve at the pleasure of the board only, not mayor and council.
Okay, if you say so. I know that when Helen was the citizen advisory member of the board, it went through mayor and council, but if you say that's what you guys want to do, that's fine. I'm just saying what I know.
That's the information I gleaned from the city clerk's office.
Okay, Steve, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. I would qualify as a resident, as a homeowner as well. So if it is easier to appoint me in either of those categories, I'm happy to serve in that capacity.
No, I think Armory Park needs special qualification more than residence and stuff like that. My preference would be for you to come in the special category. You qualify for both. Unfortunately, you cannot do both. So I don't think there's any issue with your appointment. So my preference, except the board wants otherwise, my preference would be for you to be appointed in the special category position.
The city clerk is still working on the agenda for February 4th. So their names could be on there if they've cleared PDSD.
Right, okay. And Helen, again, like I said, if you need any help or anything that has to do with Ward 6, feel free to contact me. I'll be more than happy to help you. Michael, do we have anything else on the agenda?
We have a staff update and future agenda item. For staff update, I can only say that the position of the historic preservation officer is getting close. Interviews have been done, and I think they're at the level of giving an offer, and not long from now, we're going to get a historic preservation officer for the city of Tucson. And Maria, is there any other thing that you wanted to add?
That's it. That's all I know too.
And then secondly, we are coming to the board today to ask for clarification. When the board reviewed the Armory Park case on November 19, there was an item on the motion that talked about the dog park. So the clarification staff is seeking from the board is, I know that based on what I understood was that it's not that you are totally against the dog park. It is that the dog park can be there, but you're saying that you want it to come back to you as a minor review, or what is actually the position of the board on the dog park issue?
The action that the board took on November 19th was to not approve a dog park, but
Okay.
but to approve the slimmed down version that was presented as an intrusion
Okay.
moving forward.
Can you clarify that more, John?
It means that the board did not support the concept of a dog park in Armory Park.
Okay.
But the proposal has presented the revised proposal for the smaller one, which was 145 by 50 feet, snugged up to the north, was approved as the best design iterative if the the director approves the plans moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and the only things that were scheduled to come back before Armory Park were all of the colors, the benches, and the small stuff that are details that were to be determined at that time.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Sure, just housekeeping.
Yeah, that's the only update that I have for staff. Future agenda item. At this point in time, I am not showing on my radar anything that you have for a full review. This is not to say that the case may not come up before your next review. But at this point in time, I do not have any item that is ready for Armory Park review. I just have those series of minor review.
Michael, there is one thing I would like you to correct. Be sure to get Pat's address as POB 47.
Yes, I will do. You send that information to me, I will do.
Yeah, I had to forward the connection to it.
Okay, should we adjourn this meeting?
Yeah. So the meeting is being adjourned at 7:25 p.m.
I'll send you a draft, Michael,
Thank you, John.
when it gets posted.
And I will post that other earlier that you sent to me. I am
Yes.
I'm going to stop the recording right now.